you so much. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome at home to our online viewers as well. Spirit, how can I serve today? Oh Lord, speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Who needs my love today? Sweet Spirit, who needs my love today? Oh Lord, speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Amen. Woo! Where you lead me, I will go. How must I share today, sweet Spirit? How must I share today? Oh Lord, speak in ways that I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. I will understand. Where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Where you lead me, where you lead me, I will follow. Where you lead me, I will go. Amen. The music of Ricky Byers. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome to you. Hello. Welcome. Inside my head there lives a dream that I want to see in the sun. Behind my eyes there lives a me that I've been hiding for much too long. I've been too afraid to let it show, 'cause I'm scared of the judgment that may follow. Always putting off my living for tomorrow. It's time to step out on faith. Gotta show my face. It's been elusive for so long, but the freedom is mine today. I gotta step out on faith. Time to show my face. Procrastination had me down, but look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. A strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. that knows humility. Inside my voice there is a soul, and in my soul there is a voice. I've been too afraid to make a choice, 'cause I'm scared of the things I might be missing. Running too fast to stop and listen. It's time to step out on faith. Gotta show my face. It's been elusive for so long, but the freedom is mine today. It's time to step out on faith. Gotta show my face. Procrastination had me down, but look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Inside of me, I close my eyes and I think of all the things I want to see. 'Cause I know now that I've opened up my heart, I know that anything I want to be can be, so let it be. So let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Yeah. I found it. I finally found it. I found it. Have you found freedom in this room? Come on now. I found it. I found it. Don't be afraid to find it. Come on now. Strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Yeah, inside of me. All right. Good job, everybody. Moving in your seats. I see you. I see you. I see you. Good morning. So I got a new keyboard. It's just taking me a minute to pull this all together. There we go. This is the time in our service where I really involve you, right? I know you're ready for it. So if you feel so inclined, rise in spirit or rise up on your feet and sing with me our opening song. It is our community song. There is a space in my heart where I can find the truth. I find me in you, a truth beyond what you may see now. When we are one, we bring more good about. No matter who, what you call yourself, or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. See with new eyes, allow an unfold, embrace and let go. Trust the flow. There's a freedom and love when you follow your heart. Together we are stronger than we can ever be apart. No matter who, what you call yourself, or where you come from, yeah. There is a place in this world with open arms right now. Yeah. Welcome to love, welcome to peace, welcome to our community. Be who you are, let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here, yes you are. You are welcome here. Breathe in and out. Slowly feel all that's around you. All that you feel, all that you know. Let it go. Welcome to love. Welcome to peace. Welcome to our community. Be who you are. Let your light shine. We're so much more when we unite. You are welcome here. Love is welcome here. Peace is welcome here. Yes, you are welcome here. Amen. Yeah. Good job, everybody. Please be seated. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone. My name is Al Shellman, and I proudly serve as a licensed practitioner at the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. We are a center that educates and engages the seeker on their spiritual path. As a member of the global movement, Centers for Spiritual Living, our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal and global transformation. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence. And our vision is a world that works for everyone. Whether it is your first time, you are watching from home, or you are a member, SLCA is where you belong. We are grateful for your presence this morning.
All right, good morning. Let's hear it again. Good morning. Who are you and why are you here? That's what I'm going to be talking about today. You've probably asked yourself that question a bunch of times in your life, maybe a few times this morning. So what if we can shift our awareness to living, rather than living from scarcity, lack, limitation, and trying to get our needs met by everybody else who's also trying to get their needs met and doesn't know who they are or why they're here, shifting to living from wholeness and living on purpose. That's what we're going to discuss today. Today's affirmation is, I am a divine expression of the one life of all. That life which is whole, perfect, and complete, lacking nothing. That life which is forever, seeking good through and as me. Let's do it again together. I am a divine expression of the one life of all, which is the life of that life which is whole, perfect, and complete, lacking nothing. That life which is forever seeking good through and as me. Amen. I'll be back in a little bit. Good morning. Glad you're here. Maybe I'll repeat. Let's give us some announcements this morning.
Good morning. I'm Mally Lapete, and I gladly serve on the creative arts team here at SLCA. Let's see here. Let's turn to the announcements. Okay, I got that one right. I'm excited to tell you about opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give. For more information about today's announcements, please take the opportunity to take your phone and scan the QR code on the back of the chair in front of you, or the one that's out in the lobby. Connect with others in our center every Sunday morning from 9 a.m. Eastern Time, right here at the center. This opportunity is offered both in person and it's also Zoomed, and that's from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. Living the Science of Mind with Reverend Susan Zoller is held every Wednesday evening from 7 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's an hour and a half with Susan Zoller. Zoom, she's kept it going. It's just gotten a life of its own. Please direct your attention to the monitors for our next announcement.
Hello, SLCA community. My name is Annie, and I am a coach and trainer with Beacon Empowerment Strategies. And I will be visiting your center on February 20th to host a forgiveness workshop called Removing the Barriers to Our Heart. I'd love for you to join us at this workshop where we will jump into a practice of Desmond Tutu's fourfold path to forgiveness. It's a tool and an approach to forgiveness that makes the oftentimes difficult and hard process a little bit easier. I'll also be sharing with you self-forgiveness tools and other practices that you can incorporate into your life to feel freer and happier and to forgive and let go of the things that take away from our happiness. I'm looking forward to spending time with you. I'll see you February 20th.
Yeah, she looks great. We're going to have her here February 20th. You need to make sure and reserve your spot for this very special workshop. And lunch will be served for those attending in person. To register for these and other weekly opportunities, visit our website at slca.com or scan the QR code. You've got that part down. Now, plan to join us also in February on the 26th from 1 to 4 p.m. for an opportunity to serve as we prepare bags of needed items for our unhoused neighbors. We'd like to give thanks to each of you faithfully who give to SLCA. To find ways to give, visit our digital program or see the information on the screen. We'll do our grateful giving later on in the service. Practitioners are available this morning for prayer and service, both in person and via online chat. So if you wish to receive their affirmative prayer, our online practitioner will provide their email to set up a time for that. Otherwise, for in-person right here in the sanctuary, our practitioners will be found on either side of the sanctuary this morning after service. Thank you for joining us this morning. Y'all have a good day.
Lighting the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people in all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light a candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light a candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light a candle for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and the presence of spirit in their lives, and for the space that we are holding for them at this center, and for all religions unnamed in this ceremony.
Now is the time for us to go within. And I would like to just invite you to be with me while I allow Spirit to come through me and do a spiritual mind treatment, also known as affirmative prayer, where we know the truth of our being. So just take a deep breath and let go of everything that you feel that's not for your highest good. And just breathe in God, all of God, because there is nothing else but God. I will speak these words in first person, and I'd like for you to take them on as your very own. Infinite presence, divine intelligence, Father, Mother God, known by many names, but I choose to call it God. For it is the only power in the universe, only one, no other power. I recognize this within my entire being. It's nothing but God. I surrender all because I know that it's not I, but the I am that dwells within me that does everything. Spirit leads, mind follows, and body belongs. Like the river flowing to the ocean, I flow with it. Like the bird leaping off a branch and flying, I leap out in faith, knowing that God is holding me. I give thanks for this. I give thanks for this place called Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, where it nourishes my entire being, my mind, and just lifts me up to a higher consciousness so that I can go out into the universe and just spread the love. Because when you acknowledge love within you and you give it out, you get so much more. I practice daily putting myself in my brothers and sisters' shoes so that I can see God in them and also recognize God in me. So in the stillness, I become in tuned with my innermost self, my inner life. God, I give thanks. When I look in the mirror sometimes, I have to question, who am I? What am I here for? What is my purpose? But when I tune in and be still and know that God is all there is, I know exactly who I am and what I am doing on this earth plane. I just give thanks, God. I'm so grateful for all that I have and all that is coming, all that I am and all that I'm becoming. I give thanks. I give thanks for prosperity and abundance flowing to me endlessly and effortlessly. Thank you, God. This prayer is not only for me, but it's for everyone at the sound of my voice and everyone that is in this room. I'm so grateful for them. So grateful that I can stand here and be the conduit, that it comes through, saying there is life, there is love, there is peace, there is harmony. That is what we are. I have spoken these words with authority, power, and conviction. And I release them into the law, knowing they will not come back to me void. And if you agree with me with these words, simply join me in saying, and so it is.
With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. As I open and allow, I know right here and now, I create a world where wonders never cease. With every prayer, I breathe the heart of God. I breathe the love of God through me. Again, through me. Take away the melodies, take away the songs I sing, take away all the lights and all the songs you let me write. Does the one I am today say the words you need to say? Let them see you in me. Let them hear you when I speak. Let them feel you when I sing. Let them see you. Let them see you in me. Who am I without grace? Another breath, a grain of sand, passing quickly through love's hand. I'd give my life an offering. Take it all, take everything. Let them see love in me. Let them hear love when I speak. Let them feel love when I sing. Let them see love. Let them see love in me. With every breath I breathe, sing a simple melody, but I pray they'll hear more than a song. Let them see love in me. Let them hear love when I speak. Let them see love in me, in me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks,
Powerful.
Dad.
Thank you.
That's a powerful song.
Thank you. Thank you, Penelope. Thank you, Al, for that powerful prayer. Good morning. It's a good day to be together, yes? Wow. Take a breath. I just allow all of that. Let them see me. That powerful prayer, everything that has unfolded in our morning together to just come full center into our being right now as we launch into today's message. Today is about who am I and why am I here? There's an old story that talks about a man who was a Jewish philosopher, and he would take nightly walks outside of his village, and he would just walk in the forest, and he would walk and walk and walk until he, in any particular direction, not really paying attention, just meandering through the trees and walking until he felt like he had asked questions. And have you ever done that? You know, you just need to walk and kind of just move through some things. So he'd do this to kind of just move his body and just mentally move through some things. And when he felt ready, he'd turn around and he'd walk back home. He did that. This was his spiritual practice. He'd do this on a daily basis. Well, one day he just kept walking and walking and walking. And then the forest kind of cleared, and there was a great wall in front of him. He'd never seen this wall before. It was clearly some kind of wall or border around something else, a castle or home or something. And he'd never seen it before. So he walked along the wall, and then all of a sudden, as he's walking along the wall, he hears this voice, and this voice says, "Who are you? Why are you here?" He looks all around, and he looks at the wall. The voice calls out again, "Who are you? Why are you here?" And he looks up and he sees this tower as part of this wall, and there's this person standing up in the tower, calling down to him. So he looks up at the tower, he looks back at the wall. He's like, "I've never seen any of this before. This is so weird." And so he says, "Well, who do you work for?" And the guy says, "Who do I work for? It's none of your business. I'm asking you the questions. Who are you and why are you here?" And the philosopher thinks, he says, "Yeah, you're right. It's really none of my business who you work for. Let me ask you a better question. How much are they paying you?" "What do you mean, how much are they paying me? How much are they paying you to stand there and ask that question to whoever comes by?" So he gives a figure, right? He just, whatever the figure is. And then the philosopher says, "Tell you what, I'll pay you twice as much if you come to my house every day and ask me those two questions." Right? Who are you? Why are you here? Powerful questions for us to explore and to engage in this morning. And this month our theme is the inner life. We're exploring the inner life, looking at the dimensions of our consciousness and our relationship with the divine. We are clothed in this skin bag, this body, and we have this personality, and we have all that we are in the world of circumstances and conditions, but all of it is a vehicle of the divinity of the source of our true power. When I'm invited to remember who I am, that I am one with the Spirit, that I'm one with the divine, that I am that I am, I can navigate the world of conditions and circumstances a little better, right? So we're here to understand this idea that we're, again, dressed in a body and a personality, but we're so much more than that, right? You are a divine being who has come here to work through the laws of consciousness to remember who you truly are, to remember your essential self. And for this, you invited, consciously or unconsciously, you invited everybody else in your experience to dress up in this meat suit and to play along with you, right? Isn't that wild? I mean, it's just wild. When you think about some of the people you have invited, It's like, wow, that was an interesting choice, right? And so we've invited all these players, and then we have all of these things. We've also stepped into a life where we have circumstances and conditions, and it's where you were born and who you were born to, and the economic status and what was happening politically, and what part of the country or the world, and friends and neighbors, and all of those things. Right? You have a set of circumstances and conditions. But those circumstances and conditions that you are, for better or worse, things that you are conditioned to, but here's the key, you're not contained by. You're conditioned to the environment that you stepped into, but you're not contained by it, right? You're conditioned to it because, for a couple of things, right? I want to point out a couple of things for you today. The unique set of conditions and circumstances that are part of your journey, they are a couple of things. They are one, they are part of an expression or evidence of the infinite creativity of spirit. Haven't you ever noticed that, like, how many people have siblings? Right? You have siblings, and how many people have you have a life view and experience that is completely different than that sibling, right? And you're like, how did this? How we grew up in the same house, right, with the same parents and the same. How did you? Why did you vote for? Right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, spirit is infinite in its creativity. So our situation, our circumstances and conditions are evidence, one, of the infinite creativity of spirit. Two, they are the byproduct of the choices of those who have gone before us. This is very important because often we think that we are, as I was talking last week about spiritual gaslighting, right? That we sometimes blame ourselves or blame others for situations in our life and think that our consciousness had something to do with it, right? But there's a lot of situations, circumstances, and conditions that are the byproduct of choices that were made by people who came here before you, right? They made choices that set up environment and did things. And so you're living in the byproduct of that. You're living in the lived effect of the choices of those who've gone before you. And then finally, the third thing that all of these things are evidence of is that they are a tool, a potential tool, an available resource for your awakening. An available resource for your awakening. It doesn't mean you have to use it. You get to decide what it means, right? So hear that. That's key because that doesn't mean, it's not, those things didn't happen to you because you're supposed to awaken and learn. And no. I want you to notice what's not on this list. The circumstances and conditions in your life are not the cause of you. Oh, I need you to get that. I really need you to get that. They are not the cause of you. They are expressions and evidence of the infinite creativity of spirit. They are the byproduct of choices of those that have gone before you, and they are potential tools, resources for your awakening. But they're not the cause of you. Don't get it twisted. Don't forget where everything comes from. First cause is spirit. Your cause is the divine. Your cause, you are a spark of the eternal flame of life shot forth from the central fire of the universe, here to shine your light. That's your cause. That's your cause. Don't get it twisted into thinking that these things made you who you are. No. I was doing some genealogy research. Some of you know I'm really into that, and I've stumbled across some things over the years, and I've discovered these whole branches that go way back, and it's fascinating to me. But I always take it lightly because I'm like, I could be wrong, right? I mean, you're off 1 degree, and then all of a sudden you're on a whole track, and you're like, I'm related to the king of. Well, it turns out no, right? So you got to check and double check and all this stuff. So I was doing that the other night. I was spending some time on that, and my wife was there, and she was helping me, and she was like, this doesn't make sense. This, who your second great-grandfather, isn't in any of the census records of his father. And so something's not right. And so we started looking into it. Sure enough, it's not right, not there. And long story short, I discovered something else, and that person's father isn't connected, or at least at this moment, my conclusion is that it isn't. And it's a whole different story, right? And the story itself isn't really important or pertinent today. But the point was, I had to lop off a whole branch of my tree. Like there was this huge noise, right? Because it went back generations and generations and connected to all these other things. And it just like, zzz, it took the saw and just, and I went, well, there goes all that history, right? Not connected to it at all, apparently. Maybe I am, and I just got something wrong in my secondary research, right? But the point is that it's an available resource. I can make something of that. What does it mean that, a lot of times people make a story about the conditions that they've come into. And then you let it limit your potential. Well, I can't do this because my parents or my grandparents, or you don't understand that they, and they were bad people and da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, that's true. It's just, here's the thing. It's just kindling. It's just kindling. It's just resource to fuel the fire of the passion of who you're meant to be. You get to use it as you choose. It's just sitting there on the side of the hearth. You can throw in as much as you want. You can use other fuel sources, right? You get to decide. Right? You can make it real big. Oh, yes, and all the way back, my great-great-grandmother, grandfather, granduncle, they were this really important person in the world. Yeah, cool. That's great. It's the same thing. If somebody else is disconnected or doesn't like their history or whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? The point is, it's not our cause. You have conditions and circumstances, right? But you are not your conditions and circumstances. Let me say that again. You have conditions and circumstances, but you are not your conditions and circumstances. You have experiences, joy, happiness, love, grief, sorrow, but you're not your experiences, right? Again, you are a spark of the divine shot forth from the central flame of the universe itself, here to light up the world around you in a unique and powerful way that only you can do. Your purpose is to know the truth of who you are. And the truth of who you are is always bigger than your circumstances and conditions. The truth of who you are is always bigger than your circumstances and conditions. You have an experience of lack and limitation, but the truth of who you are is unlimited potential, of abundance. Right? You have an experience or a condition of a breakup, a relationship ends, you have sorrow, grief, heartache, abandonment, isolation. The truth of who you are is that you are love universal. Right? The truth of who you are is always bigger. Even if right now you're sitting here and everything's going great in your life and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. All my experiences are wonderful and I'm living my best life. That's awesome. The truth of who you are is bigger than that. Don't be limited by your story. Even if your story is big, even if you're on the cover of magazines, even if you're, got all this great stuff going on. No, the truth of who you are is bigger than that. It's bigger than that. It's always bigger than that. And so our purpose is for God to discover itself as us. It's last week what I called the infinite self-knowingness of spirit, the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of spirit. We're here to grow into the awareness that who we are is bigger than all of this. And we can make all of this good. We can make all of this be in alignment and be a joyful experience. We should do that, right? You're meant to be happy. You're meant to be prosperous. You're meant to be well. All of those things. But the truth of who you are is always bigger than that. Now, you think to yourself, well, cool. Why didn't somebody just tell me that in the beginning? Right? See, the challenge is that we live in this perpetual state of amnesia and hypnosis to a sense of separation, which is to say it like this: we tend to pay too much attention to our perceived deficits and not enough attention to our God-given deposits. We spend too much attention and energy on our perceived deficits. And the way we do that, so how does that happen? It's really easy. It's not rocket science, but it is brain science. It is literally cognitive science, right? At some point, you began this cognitive child development process called differentiation. You differentiate. At first, you see the world as just one thing. and your caregivers are there, and the world is there, and your food is there, and everything that you need is there, and it's just one thing, right? And it's all lovely, and there's faces and shapes, but you can't really tell it one from the other. It's just one big, beautiful experience of love and comfort for most children, right? Not all. And then you begin to see, oh, well, that person, that face is different than that face, and that thing is different than that thing. And then you do this thing that, always makes the Sunday night funniest videos thing, right? There's a point which somebody's showing you a ball or a toy or a teddy bear or something, right? And then they hide it, right? And you've begun to learn this thing called object permanence. Because there's a point in your life where once it's gone, it's gone. It disappeared from the universe, right? And that's the reaction that they get from the baby that goes, ugh! Right? It's like, where'd it go? Oh my God, it was here and now it's gone. I don't know what to do. My brain has just exploded, right? But at some point you realize, hey, that thing's behind your back. Right? And you start looking for it. That's when you begin to pull away. It's self-differentiation. The challenge is that we've mistaken self-differentiation for separation and isolation. It's okay. Be gentle with yourself. You were like 10 months old. There was a lot going on. Okay? You're trying to hold up your head and walk and all kinds of things. But we all made that mistake. We began to think that our self-differentiation was separation. And when we live from separation, it means that we're fueled by the desire to always have our needs met so that we can fill the gap of what it is that we think is missing. And that sets us on a trajectory that becomes mission critical called survival. Right? I'm separate from my good, and I need something from you in order to fill that. It started very young, and we spent our whole life doing that, right? But what if that wasn't the case? What if you are and always have been connected to your good, and that everything that you need is right here in the infinite realm, and that you've never been separated from it? What would that change in your behavior, in your daily routines? What if you didn't have to seek approval? What if you didn't have to prove yourself to someone else? What if you didn't have to get that thing because it was already there? You see? Now, I'm going to put a pause right here because I want us to understand how our consciousness operates. We are sensing beings, right? We have our 5 senses. We also have our sense of intuition and psychic sense that we kind of psychically feel into a room. We know if a situation is good or bad most of the time. If you walk into a room and be like, whoa, no, something going on here. I don't want to be there, right? So we have that going on, but we also have the taste and touch and sight and all of those things, right? So we're sensing sentient beings. And how we are having our life is through the habits, what I call the habits of being. And they are our habits of being, our habits of doing, and our habits of having. And they're kind of in that sequence. And these things are all external. So if you could, I didn't do it on the board because it got complicated. I wanted to keep things simple for you, but I'll just describe it to you, right? You're a sensing being, and you're sensing the environment. Sensing is by outward stimulus, whether that's sight, touch, taste, all of those things, or psychic intuition, awareness, feeling, gut feeling, all of those things, right? Sensing. You're sensing the environment that you're in. And that sensing influences, first, your habit of being. Your habit of being is your attitude, your mood, your outlook, right? Your habit of doing is your routine where you seek to control, have a good day, have a positive outcome, be productive at work, control your environment, right? You want to do a routine, brush your teeth at the same time, get up at the same time, do this at the same time. It's your habit of doing is an attempt, a feeble attempt, by the way, to control your environment, right? Because it makes you feel secure, right? And that produces your habit of having. What you end up, the experience that you have. Everybody with me so far? You're sensing being, sensing everything that's going on that influences your habit of being, doing, and then having. Now, if you're coming from lack and limitation, your habit of being is scared. Your habit of being is anxious. Your habit of being is, your outlook is dismal. Your right? It's not a positive thing. Your habit of doing then is seeking approval. It's trying to win affection. It's trying to get something from somebody else. Then your having is an experience of lack. Your having is always not enough. Your having is short, always falling short somehow. And your having becomes what we call, how can I put it succinctly? It's what's the matter with you? You're having, your experience, what's the matter with you? The experience that you're having, right? Now, there's another side of ourself, which is the internal side of ourself. And the internal side of ourself is how we process life. And we process life through our habits of feeling, believing, and perceiving. Feeling, believing, perceiving. And when we're in a feeling of, if we're having an experience of that something's the matter with me, you're the matter with me, they're the matter with me, that person is the matter with me, this condition is the matter with me, the outcome of that thing is the matter with me, something else is the matter with me, then my feeling is not a positive feeling, right? My belief, I then generate negative beliefs and I turn them in on myself. And then my perceiving is that that's the way the world is and there's nothing I can do about it. And then it feeds right back into then what we're sensing. Right? So it's like a circuit board. You're a sensing being, go being, doing, having, and then the internal process is feeling, believing, perceiving. Got it? That's the circuit. Now, we're either, in any moment, we're either sensing separation or we're sensing well-being. We're either sensing isolation or we're sensing connection, some sense of wholeness. Right? So our mission then, as we're clear about what we're here to do, our mission, our purpose is to express the divine, right? We've already talked about that. But our mission is to get free so that we can set others free. Our mission is to get free so that you can set free. Somebody say that. Get free to set free. You're here to get free to set free. You're here to get free to set free. Because you're either sensing separation or sensing well-being at any given time. Now, you might say, well, why can't I just get free and leave everybody else alone? Why can't they be in charge of their own get free? Why can't I just focus on my get free? I want to get free for me, and they got to work out their thing, right? You ever wonder that? A lot of people in New Thought wonder that, right? Because we tend to be focused on ourselves. It's okay. You got to get free. You got to get free. But you got to get free so that you can set others free. Here's the reason. Because the self that you are awakening to, the authentic self of who you are, watch this, it doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to you. This self that you are awakening to is the universal self. The self that you are awakening to is the I am presence. The self that you are awakening to is that which created everything. It belongs to everyone. The self that you're awakening to is your universal self. To hold that as your private good is in and of itself an act of separation. Oh, you missed it. You missed it. You're a sensing being. You are sensing your environment. You're either sensing through your perceptions of you remember it? I got to go back in my notes to remember it. Being, doing, and having. Feeling, believing, and perceiving. And out of all of that, you're either sensing separation or well-being. If you move in your enlightenment, you work on your affirmations, you work on your prosperity, you work on your self-talk, you pray and meditate every day, you do all of these things, and you begin to lift yourself up and out and away from the conditioning of your past and your experience, and you begin to create a life. You following what I'm saying? You begin to create a life that is more separated from the moorings of the condition that brought you into this world, and you begin to experience more freedom, more joy, more prosperity, more love. And you're like, yeah, this is what it's about, baby. I got this. And then you begin to tell yourself that that is unique to you. you have missed the point completely. Because what you woke up to is the universal self that belongs to everyone and everything. That's why you got to get free so that you can set free. Why? Because as a sensing being, it's not just, you see, there's the internal process with feeling, believing, and perceiving. So why don't you say, well, why can't you just, if I'm in an environment that isn't for my highest good, if I'm in lack and limitation, let's say I came into the world in poverty and whatever it was, something not good, and why can't I just perceive that it's not that bad? Why can't I just think that instead of thinking it's against me, think that it's for me, right? That's a good tool. You should do that if you're in that situation and you have the wherewithal to do that. But here's the thing. You're a sensing being from the time before you even get here in this realm. They've done studies. They've done studies actually the studies were done here, but Northern European countries have implemented the impact of these studies. They've done studies on the well-being mental attitude of mothers when they're caring. And what they've discovered is when the mother has a sense of well-being, there's a higher development of the frontal lobe cortex of the brain. And when the mother has a sense of scarcity, lack, limitation, fearful of her needs being met, resources, whatever it might be, then there's a greater measured development of the fight or flight of the reptilian brain, right? Which manages fight or flight and us being in fear and scarcity all the time. And places like the Netherlands and Sweden, what they've decided was, if we make sure that all the mothers feel sense of well-being, then the children that they produce will have higher cognitive functioning from the frontal neocortex, which produces more creativity and all of these things. And we'll have less problems a couple generations down the road, right? We did the research, but they implemented it. And that's what they do. And that's why mothers get a care box. The box becomes a little crib, and it comes with the first set of clothes and towels and all these different things. And every mother, expecting mother, gets it, whether they need it or not. Doesn't matter whether they have the resources to buy their own crib and do their own thing. They get one. Why? Because they want the sense. It's not about whether they need the resource or not. It's about the sense that the government is saying, we see you. We care for you. We want your baby to be well. Let us know if you need anything else. We got you. They know the long-term impact of that. Right here in Georgia, just recently, they've been doing this. It was on the news the other night, that they were measuring babies that were born, the cognitive activity of young children, of single mothers who were getting the tax child credit checks. And they were measuring this, and what they were discovering was, again, that the neurological patterns of the children changed when the mothers were getting the checks. And they began to move into a level of higher functioning, higher creativity, measurable difference. Why? Because you're sensing the environment. You're sensing the well-being of the mother. You're sensing that mom's not stressed about how to get food on the table, right? And it affects your environment. That's why we got to get free to set free. Because it's not just you on your own. You are not an island unto yourself. Remember, I said that some of the circumstances and conditions that you've walked into in life are here as the result of other people's choices and behaviors. So if we're really free, if we're really enlightened, if we're really into our oneness, then we will see that part of our responsibility is to create that environment for others, is to ensure that other people have a sense of well-being, a sense of protection, a sense that all is well, a sense that you're not going to be discriminated against because of who you love or the color of your skin or the height or your hair or whatever, anything else, right? You understand what I'm saying? All right. Whew, take a breath, because I need to, right? This is why, let me break it down like this. Your God self that you are awakening to does not belong to you alone. It's the universal I am within you. That's why self-awareness at the individual level is never enough. It's not about your self-awareness. Self-awareness is the booby prize. It's the booby prize of enlightenment, right? You only awaken to your greater self so that you can be a part of the allness, right? Dr. King said it this way. He said, morality cannot be legislated, but behavior can be regulated. So we can't change the heart or the minds of those who want to do things that would discriminate against others, that would cause harm to others, that would produce environments in which the well-being for others is not secured or protected. We can't do anything about the heart or mind from which that comes, but we can regulate the behavior that says, that's not allowed, or that's illegal, or that violates civil rights, or that whatever it is, right? And in doing so, you begin to set the environment where then maybe people will begin to see. Have you ever heard the phrase, hurting people hurt people? Right? So those who are creating conditions in which the well-being of others is not guaranteed or protected, guess what they're feeling? A sense of separation. You don't produce discrimination and environmental degradation and classism and racism and sexism and homophobia and transphobia. You don't create those things out of a sense of well-being. You create those things out of a sense of lack and limitation, that something's missing in you, and therefore you got to take it out on somebody else. So if we stop the behavior and say, now that behavior is not going to be allowed here, because that's the first thing you do, right? When William is running through the room with scissors, right, the first thing I do, I don't say, well, you need to come from a sense of wholeness and realize that you don't need to do that, right? If he's hitting his brother, oh, you need to shift your mental awareness and come from a sense. No, first thing you do is stop the behavior. Right? Stop the behavior and then address the need. Where are you coming from? Why do you feel this is necessary? Right? Let me wrap it up like this. The implication of our oneness is wholeness. And it's the responsibility of our wholeness to uphold oneness. The integrity of your wholeness is measured by your responsibility to oneness. You get that? The integrity of your wholeness. What do I mean by that? If you have a sense of well-being and wholeness in your life, the integrity of that is measured by the level to which you have a responsibility to the oneness of those around you and everything around you. In other words, in AA, they would say it like this. It's the 12th step. 12th step, you got to give it away. You don't have sobriety unless you give it away to somebody else. You don't have freedom unless you help somebody else get free. You don't have that wholeness unless you're helping somebody else get whole. The integrity of your wholeness is measured by your responsibility to oneness. That's why knowing who we are and why we're here is so vitally important. Amen? Let's do our affirmation together again. Take a breath. Whew, I felt that. I am a divine expression of the one life of all. That life which is whole, perfect, and complete, lacking nothing. That life which is forever seeking good through and as me. Let's do it again. I am a divine expression of the one life of all. That life which is whole, perfect, and complete, lacking nothing. That life which is forever seeking good through and as me. And so it is. So we let it be. Have a great day.
Great, great.
Reverend David, we want to just thank you for that. Now we know who we are. Universal. We're not one, we're universal oneness. It is time to acknowledge our first-time visitors. If this is your first time at SLCA, we invite you to stand so we may welcome you. Our ushers are handing you a gift just for you. Please join a welcome ambassador for fellowship in the lobby following service. Thank you for choosing the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta as part of the celebration today. We welcome each of you in need of prayer to remain in the room for one-on-one prayer with a licensed practitioner. Practitioners will be available on both sides of the room. As we enter our time of grateful giving, we want to thank each of you, that faithfully give to SLCA. It is because of your contributions that we can continue to spread our message of oneness. If you were inspired by this message today, please consider becoming a recurring pledger or give what is on your heart today. You can conveniently give on our website or text your gift to 404-800-9467. You may also give with a credit card using our digital program with the QR code on the back of the seat in front of you. Our ushers will be walking through the aisles shortly to receive your cash or check contribution. Please join me in saying our grateful giving affirmation. I live in a universe of abundance as I freely and joyfully give. I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. I didn't have my ear in. There we go. I want to invite you to stand as you feel so inclined, and we'll sing our closing song, shall we? There we go. Thank you, Reverend David. Thank you, Al and Mally, and all of us being here. Yes. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. Have a great weekend, everybody. We love you. Works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. Amen.